Welcome to Crash Course 69, and today we're going to be talking about the state legislature. The structure of the state legislature is made up like the national legislature, which means it's bicameral, except one in those states. Bicameral means it has two houses. One's called the Senate, one's called the House of Representatives or the Assembly. In order to be a state legislator, you have to meet three requirements: age, residency, and citizenship. And legislators are also chosen by popular vote. Senators typically serve 4-year terms, and the House of Representatives typically serves 2-year terms. And also, they get a compensation package of $30,000. Cha-ching. State legislature has many powers. For example, like collecting taxes, borrowing money, enforcing laws, building roads, etc. Also, they have this one thing called the police power. The power to safeguard the well-being of all the people in the United States. And there's 3 non-legislative powers. One is called the executive power, the judicial power, and the constituent power. The constituent power means that you can make or propose any laws you want and add it into the state constitution. There are 2 basic considerations for the size of the legislature. In each of its houses, it cannot be too big, or it can't be too small. It just has to be perfect and equal. Reynolds versus Sims is an important case. The Supreme Court ruled that under the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment requires that the legislative districts in states should be equal in population. In our state, our home state, Nevada, after the 2018 election, had the first female majority legislature ever. Each of the houses in the state legislature, there are groups called committees. Committees are appointed for a specific function. For example, like the Aging Committee, the Agriculture Committee, the Armed Forces Committee, and much more. The people who appoint representatives or senators into those committees is called the presiding officer. Also, committees may amend the bill or rewrite altogether, but is more often addressed. The sources of bills typically come from lobbyists. Lobbyists are people who influence public policies, but they're really not doing it for the people. They're just doing it for themselves, so they can get more money. Well, everything revolves around money. Let's allow voters to have a direct part in lawmaking through 2 main options: the initiative and the referendum. There are 2 types of initiative: direct and indirect. Initiative means is a process that enables citizens to bypass their state legislature by placing proposed statutes and, in some states, constitutional amendments in the ballot. And referendum is a process by which a legislature measure referred to states' voters for approval. And there are 3 different forms of referendum. There's one called the mandatory, requires legislator to refer a measure for the voters. And there's one called the optional, to measure voluntarily. And one called the popular. People may demand via petition that a measure is passed. And those are the 3 types of referendum. There are 3 important terms that we discuss in this episode today. One's called the police power, power to safeguard the well-being of the people of the United States. For example, like education, health, housing, and stuff like that. The other one's the constituent power, constituting, making, and the constitutional amendment process. It's just proposing laws or proposing an amendment to add into the Constitution. And the next one's called the referendum, process by which a legislative power refers states' voters for approval. This is all for Crash Course episode number 69 about the state legislature. I just want to say shout out to my boy Fishy Friends out there. No, shout out to God. Shout out to Jesus. Shout out to everyone who wants a shout out. Shout out to my boy Alfie, bruh. He always there hooking me up. Yeah, shout out to Kirby as well. See you guys later. Hold up, one more thing. I'm gonna make a bold decision right now. Nevada, in the first round, is not gonna get past the Florida Gators. Go Gators.